I just built an entire voice AI system using Claude Code. I didn't manually set up anything. I didn't wire workflows step by step. I just prompted Claude. It built the voice agent in Retell AI, wrote the prompt, added real functions, handled post-call data, and even created multiple end-to-end workflows, one for checking calendar availability, one for booking appointments, and one for post-call routing. That honestly really surprised me because it changes how we normally build these systems. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what I built, how it works step by step, so you can start building real voice AI systems that businesses actually use just by prompting Claude. You don't need a coding background for this at all. I'm going to give you all the prompts completely for free, so that way, even if you have never built anything with Claude Code, you'll be able to follow me around. All right, let's get started. All right, so let me show you what we're going to build actually today. So we're building this voice agent for John's HVAC, which is basically an HVAC company that has the ability to book appointments or, service appointments, basically check calendar. And all of this, by the way, I'm not touching any of this. All of this is built by Claude Code. So it builds the front end here with voice AI, including the functions here. And as you can see, the functions are pretty comprehensive. And then also even post-call analysis, like post-call data extraction, like the name of the person calling. So if there's a customer calling for an HVAC appointment, right, it extracts all of that information. And then also it builds these 3 unique workflows, one for checking availability, second for booking an appointment, and the third one is going to be post-call webhook. Again, I didn't do any of this. And if I go to the executions, you'll see exactly that all of this succeeded, meaning that since this is a published workflow, meaning this is live, so that's why you can see exactly these green dots that showcases that this is working properly. And it's absolutely incredible that it's being built all automatically via the APIs. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So the first thing is you need to make sure, and as you can see right here, I'm not making it up, I actually built this on Claude Code. So let's go ahead and get started with the new session. First of all, if you don't have Claude Code, please make sure you go install Claude, go to claude.ai, install the desktop app. So if you install the desktop app, it's going to look something like this. You're going to have to come to the top hand right corner here, and you're going to have to click on, instead of chat, there's co-work and code. One important thing, you want to make sure that you are in the pro plan. So that $20 a month right now, you don't need the max plan, but you have to have the pro plan. Anyways, so this is our Claude Code here. The first thing we need to do is obviously give it a prompt, a comprehensive prompt to build the voice AI system. Now, there's two ways to do this. One is kind of like a comprehensive prompt that you give them all the instructions. The second method is using kind of like step-by-step prompt. Now, you can click on the link in the description. You can go to this free community of mine. You go to the classroom section. You go to YouTube resources. And I've already have in the bottom, if you scroll to the bottom, it says Claude Code HVAC Voice AI. By the way, this is completely for free. All you have to do is just make sure you have an email so that way you can sign up and get into the classroom. I have a bunch of other stuff in there as well, but this is the prompts that I've given here. Again, this community is completely for free. And of course, if you want to become actually Voice AI Retell certified, we have an entire certification program actually because we're partnered with Retell AI. We show you exactly how to build client-ready voice agents step by step, and you can become a certified Voice AI provider. Again, everything is going, this is the paid community. So feel free to check that out. Link is going to be in the description. Anyways, so we're going to go ahead and use this one comprehensive prompt, but that's the method 1. Method 2, I've also given you guys this step-by-step kind of prompts where we do prompt 1, prompt 2, prompt 3. I'm going to talk about that a little bit, but let's go ahead and try the comprehensive prompt. So once you come in here, you can go ahead and copy this prompt. I'm just going to copy it. Go back to Claude Code. So this is where we're going to basically paste this entire prompt. But before you do that, one important thing is you make sure that you create a folder. So you're going to click on choose folder or create a folder, right? You're going to go inside your documents or wherever it is. Make sure you create a folder and then, so that way you can just open it. I've already done that. It's called Claude Code right here. So I'm just going to open it. And it's going to open it right here because it's going to obviously live on your local computer, right? So all of the files and everything else. So you want to make sure that you're selecting a folder there. So afterwards, I'm just going to paste the prompt here. Okay. I don't know why this is not formatted. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to quickly format this so that way we can read this better. Let me get rid of it. Okay, there you go. So I just added a few spaces so that way you can read this better, but it's the same exact thing that's on that classroom section there. All right. So what we're doing is we're saying build a real HVAC voice scheduling system using Retell AI and N8N. We need to create a Retell agent named CoolFlow HVAC 24/7 schedules or whatever. It could be something like John's HVAC, which is what I named the one that I created earlier. As you can see right here, John's HVAC. But obviously if you're dealing with clients, so let's say you're building this for a contractor or something like that, and you want to name it after that particular contractor, then feel free to change the name so that way it kind of fits your client. And but for now, I'm just going to leave it at this CoolFlow. Actually, I'm just going to get rid of this scheduler. There you go. I'm just going to say CoolFlow HVAC. So I'm saying the agent should greet the caller, ask the issue, AC, heating, maintenance, and other, collect the name, phone, and the service address, ask if the issue is urgent, offer to book a consultation. Now, we're saying use real function calls via N8N, okay, not mock. I think because last time when I was playing around with this, it kind of created mock functions. And said check availability, preferred date, time zone, book an appointment, name, phone, address, issue, time zone, right? And then afterwards, actually, you know what? I'm going to send this while I explain this because it's going to go ahead and build this thing out. So let me go ahead while it's generating. So the next step is create the N8N workflow via the N8N API. Now, this is very, very important because you do not want to put a JSON file. I'm saying do not put JSON file because otherwise you would have to copy this and you would have to like paste it inside N8N. So that's a very important point. And then I'm saying use Google Calendar to check availability, create calendar events when booking, expose webhook endpoints to two functions, and then post call data. We're collecting the name, the caller's phone, address, issues, blah, blah, blah. Routing. So I'm saying if it's urgent, you got to send a Slack message. If it's an appointment is confirmed, send an email. And we're saying add a Google Calendar integration inside N8N. As you can see, it's very comprehensive because I want to make sure that it's starting and putting everything together all at once. And like I mentioned before, if you want to kind of do step by step, then you can follow the other prompt. So there you go. It already started. It says, what's your Retell AI API key? And it gives you several options. So I'm just going to say, I have it already, right? What is your N8N Cloud Instance URL API key? That's another thing. We need the Cloud N8N because I'm using Cloud. Email service, Gmail, and then Slack webhook. I'm just going to do, that's fine. I have it already. Okay. So now it's going to ask us to put our N8N API. There you go. So we need to create the Retell API key, the N8N Cloud URL, the N8N API key. So let's go ahead and do that because obviously we want this to automatically build everything via the API. So therefore we have to put or provide our API keys here. All right. So now let's go ahead and provide these following credentials. So first, let's go ahead and grab our Retell AI API key. So if we go to our Retell AI, I'm going to go to this home so we can start fresh. Obviously, if you don't have an account for Retell AI, Retell is one of the top voice agent platforms in the market right now. If you don't have an account, go ahead and click on the link in the description. You can create a free account and you can come here. Obviously, your agents are going to look empty here. I've built a ton, as you can see. So we're going to come here, click on our setting. And this is going to open up this section where you can click on API keys. And here we literally need to click on add a key, API key. You're going to name it and you'll create it. Okay. Afterwards, this is going to show up like this. I already created one called Claude Code. I'm just going to copy this. And then we're going to go back to our Claude Code here. And I'm just going to say, actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this first. There you go. That's what I'm going to do. Copy, paste. So that way I can just go one by, oops. I can just go like one by one, right? There you go. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Gmail address. Okay, there you go. So let's go ahead and now this was our Retell API. So the second one is asking for n8n cloud URL, right? So it's giving you an example. It says, it looks something like this, http yourname.app.cloud, because I'm using the cloud. So that's why it's giving that example, because I chose cloud options earlier. Now, if you are using an n8n on your local machine, make sure you select that earlier and it'll ask you to provide your URL. Okay. So the way to the URL, your n8n cloud URL, and again, if you don't have an n8n account, go ahead and click on the link in the description. You can create a free account. And then once you log in, so it's basically this, it's just your name. So I'm just going to copy that, go back to Claude Code, paste it. Okay, perfect. And then n8n API key. All right, so the way to find your n8n API key, you're going to go back to your n8n. We're going to go to our settings. We're going to click on n8n API. There you go. And here's where you can create a API key. You're going to click on create API key. You're going to name it. So I'm just going to name it something test. I'm going to say I'm going to delete this. So don't, make sure, there you go. Save. And you're going to copy this. Make sure you do not share your API key with other people. Same thing with my Retell AI. I'm going to delete this. So don't think about copying it. All right. Slack URL. I'm just going to leave this as is. Gmail address. Put my email here. There you go, or something like that, just some test email. Slack, I'm not going to use that part, but you can put your Slack URL if you're interested. So now I'm going to enter this, and this will now go ahead and create the voice agent for me. So as you can see right now, my agents, if I go back to my agents here, my latest one is called John's HVAC, right? So it's going to go ahead and now you'll see in a little bit create that, and the same thing with my n8n. If I go back to my n8n settings, home page. So right now the latest one is John's HVAC retail voicing, right? You'll see now it will create everything for me. So if I go back to my there you go, it says n8n API is connected. Now let me create the HVAC workflow with all the required webhooks and integration. So it's going to go ahead and now it says right here, it's giving you the update to-dos, right? So it's going to create the n8n workflow with webhooks. It's going to add the Google Calendar integration for availability, checking, Google Calendar for booking, create the post-call webhook, create Retell AI agent called CoolFlow HVAC, and it's going to wire the webhook and everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and let it do its thing. And by the way, you have to kind of like stay here because it's going to sometimes ask you for permission, and you have to allow it a couple of times, so make sure you're kind of watching for that. Okay, so as you can see, it created all of this stuff, and it's saying allow this. So I'm just going to allow it so that way you can move forward. So there you go. Now it's going to germinating. Yeah, it has these like little words that it tells you what's going on. But the good thing is you can see exactly kind of the plan ahead of times of what it's going to do. So you can just kind of keep allowing it and giving the permission, because it will ask you multiple times about the permissions. So you want to make sure that you're allowing it to give permissions. And so it created the n8n workflow. Now it's activating workflow with getting webhook URLs. There you go. Workflow is activated. Now let me create the Retell AI agent. All right, so it already created the workflow. It created the webhooks. It created the Google Calendar integration. So if I go to my n8n now, let's go to my n8n here. Let me refresh the page. Let's see if it, oh, perfect. There you go, right? CoolFlow HVAC retail voice scheduling. So let's go ahead and click on this, see what it built. Perfect. Look at this. Absolutely incredible, right? One workflow for checking availability, another one for booking appointments, and another one for post-call webhook. So the first one, you see right here, that's how you communicate with the webhook here. By the way, this will automatically grab the production URL, and it already published it, so you don't have to worry about doing anything. You don't have to change like the webhook from test to production. It already does that automatically. So the next one, it added the Google Calendar. One thing you need to do is you need to double click on the Google Calendar, and you want to make sure that you are adding your calendar here. So if you don't have a credential, you need to set that up, of course. It's not going to do that automatically. So you're going to select, because I've already have my calendar, I'm just going to select my calendar. That's all you need to do. Everything else is good to go. It creates this code here. Again, you don't have to worry about what it's doing. All right. So that's checking the availability. Now the second one is booking the appointment, same thing. So the second node is parsing the data, Create calendar event, same thing. You want to make sure you're selecting your email address here, your calendar, and make sure your Google credential is attached. By the way, if you don't have the Google credential, it's very simple. You just click on create new credential and you just sign in. That's it. It's literally that simple. Okay. All right. So that was the second. The third one. So this is kind of like a comprehensive one. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit. So, oops. All right. So this one, it's post-call webhook, meaning that it's going to send the data after the call is ended, and it's going to parse that data to figure out, is this urgent? If it is, it's going to send that to Slack. Because I didn't give it my Slack URL, so that's why it says your Slack webhook URL, but it'll actually connect to your Slack as well. So feel free to change that if you want. So if it's urgent, it's going to send you a Slack message. If it's not, it's just going to continue. And if the appointment is confirmed, it's going to send you a confirmation email. So if I double click on the Gmail, you want to make sure that you're adding your Gmail account as well. And then as you can see right here, it has all of this stuff. Let me expand this. There you go. So it has all of the appointment confirmed. A new HVAC series appointment has been scheduled, and it's giving it all of this data here. By the way, of course, it's not going to be perfect, right? So you need to make a few changes, especially if you don't like the formatting or anything like that. You can go ahead and change some of that stuff, but it's going to get 80% of the stuff done for you. All right. So now that that's done, let's go back to our workflow. So it looks like it's still creating the voice agent here. So let's go ahead and let this thing do its thing. And by the way, for those of you who are part of my community, the paid community, if you go to the vibe coding section here, so obviously all the prompts are here for you, but on top of that, I've also created this voice AI prompt guide. And this is a comprehensive guide on how to basically create prompts for Claude Code in general, especially when you're building voice AI system. And of course, I'm going to create a lot more content around Claude Code, but this gives you the kind of guide on how to provide prompts for Claude Code. And of course, in the bottom, I kind of remind you guys that Claude does remove 80% of the setup, but not 100% of the responsibility, especially if you're creating production ready for your clients. This will get you a good foundation, but of course you also need to know how the systems work, so that way you can build production. And for those of you who are not part of the community, that's why we have an entire voice AI course for Retell AI, where we go through step by step all of the functions, the setups, how to create I've created multiple production ready voice agents. And then also we give you the opportunity to become a Retell certified expert, because we have partnership with Retell AI. So feel free to check that out if you're interested in starting your agency and creating a voice AI service for your clients. And of course, we also have an beginner's and intermediate guide, and then a comprehensive guide on how to start your AI agency. So check that out. The link is going to be in the description. Of course, again, this is a paid community, so if you're looking for free stuff, I have a free community that you can check out. But let's go ahead and see what Claude Code is doing now. All right, perfect. So it looks like it is completely done with everything. So it created the workflow in N8N. We checked that already. Now let's go ahead and check out our voice AI. So now I'm in my voice AI here in Retell AI. If I refresh the page, Coolflow HVAC is there. Perfect. It's a single flow. It's a single prompt voice agent. And as you see right here, it created a simple prompt here. The system prompt. So it says you're a friendly and professional customer service representative for Coolflow heating, ventilation, air conditioning. Your role is to greet customers, and it kind of has all of this information, including when checking availability, use the check availability function. So it created the functions. I click on functions and perfect. There you go, right? And it automatically has that integration with N8N. So if I click on this pencil button, you can see that it's sending all this information right away to my webhook. Right? That's absolutely incredible. And as you can see right here, this is the JSON payload that it's sending. And all of this is being sent again to our N8N, because this webhook right here, this production, because this is production, it's my app.cloud/webhook check availability. That's exactly what this is, right? This is the endpoint. That's exactly how this works. This is absolutely mind-blowing how easy things have become. But of course, as you can see right here, if you don't like the prompting here, you can go back to Claude and say, hey, that prompting is missing A, B, C, D steps, right? And you can redo this whole process step by step and kind of go back and forth with Claude if you want to make changes, whether it's on the Retell side or the N8N side. So if something is not working, you can provide that back to Claude Code and tell it to fix that issue. But again, like I said, this does create 80% of it, and you kind of have to go back and forth in order to kind of fix the rest. But anyways, it's amazing how it created all of this. And of course, if you want to change the model here, right, to go from let's say GPT 5.2, or if you want to create this is probably the most powerful one, the GPT real time, but it is obviously more expensive. So feel free to play around with that. So for the post call data extraction, if I click on this, there you go, perfect, right? As you can see, it's retrieving all of this data, the call summary, the caller name, caller phone, and all of this is being sent to N8N. So if you want to, for example, update our CRM, you can most certainly do that. Or like here, our workflow here is just basically sending this to our Slack if it's urgent, or sending us an email. So again, pretty impressive and pretty comprehensive. So play around with Claude Code. Let me know what you guys think. Of course, you can put any comments you have or any questions you have in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to you. And of course, if you are part of the community, I'm going to be creating more content, especially for you guys exclusively about Claude Code, because we're going to be building more voice agent systems with Claude Code, because like I said, this is making things a lot easier, and it is the future of building agentic workflows, whether that's voice AI systems or N8N workflows. This is where we're heading, because now we don't need to manually kind of connect nodes in N8N or create manual functions inside our Retell AI here, right? Anyways, well, hopefully you liked the video. Make sure you like and subscribe, because like I said, I've got a lot more content coming up that you don't want to miss. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.